Turning to the latest on Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which began more than a month ago now, several cities in Ukraine are still under massive missile strikes by Moscow's military, while a new round of peace talks between the two countries is just around the corner. Lee Rae-hyun is live on the line for us. Rae-hyun, do tell us more about the peace talks coming up. Is a breakthrough expected?
Daniel, it's now the 33rd day of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and a new round of peace talks between the Russian and Ukrainian delegations is slated for this week in Istanbul, Turkey. This will be the two countries' fifth round of peace talks. There are conflicting reports on the exact date of the meeting, but the Russian foreign minister said on Monday during a press conference that the in-person talks will likely to be held on Tuesday after a series of video conferences. The main agenda for the talks is yet to be revealed, but in a posted video on a social media late on Sunday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said peace and the restoration of normal life are the obvious goals of Ukraine. Take a listen.
Our priorities in the negotiations are known. Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity are beyond doubt. Effective security guarantees for our state are mandatory. Our goal is obvious: peace and the restoration of normal life of our native state as soon as possible.
However, in comments made to Russian journalists earlier in the day, Zelensky had adopted a different tone, saying his country was willing to assume neutral status and compromise over the status of this eastern Donbas region as part of a peace deal. He also said any agreement would have to be put to a referendum and be guaranteed by third parties. Meanwhile, Russia's foreign ministry said on Monday that the presidents of Russia and Ukraine could meet for talks only after the key elements of a potential deal are clarified, indicating that noticeable improvements have not been made by two countries.
And Ukrainian officials are reporting Russian missile strikes overnight. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, Daniel, although the strong resistance in Ukraine has slowed some of Russia's advances, cities are still being hit by missiles. These cities include Kharkiv, Zhytomyr, Lutsk, and Rivne, while Ukrainian officials said Mariupol has been carpet-bombed. Ukrainian Deputy Defense Minister said on Monday that Russian forces are trying to establish a corridor in the country's capital of Kyiv to block supply transport routes. Fights have continued in Kyiv suburbs. The minister added that the defense of Kyiv is still going on, which is making it difficult for Russia to take over the region. As a punishment for Russia's invasion of Ukraine, UK's Cabinet Office on Monday asked the country's public sector organizations to review their contracts with Russian and Belarusian companies and to terminate them if switching suppliers with minimal disruption is possible. It also added public money should not be funding Putin's war machine. Meanwhile, in holding off the Russians over the past month, the Ukrainian resistance has had the help of technology provided by the West. The Guardian reported on Monday that in the first week, a team of 30 Ukrainian special forces and drone operators halted a Russian convoy headed for Kyiv. Elon Musk has been providing Starlink satellite services to Ukraine, which have guided military drone strikes. Meanwhile, the UN Refugee Agency said Sunday that more than 3.8 million people have fled Ukraine. The UN also reported that civilian casualties in the country have risen to more than 2,900, including almost 1,120 deaths, though it adds that the actual figure could be considerably higher. The deaths include 140 children. That's all I have for now. Back to you, Daniel.